Do you want to get ready for Q4? Well, I think one of the best things to do is learn about Amazon ads. So I'm going to talk to you and tell you my tips and tricks, and actually if you stay till the end, you're going to learn kind of my super secret way, or definitely my different way of thinking about ads and creating products that can really help you in this Q4 season. Hey everybody, I'm Ashley with Publish with Ashley, and in my YouTube channel I talk a lot about publishing low content books on KDP, making money online through Etsy, KDP, and various other things. So please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've always got a lot of crazy ideas and tips and things like that. But today we're focused on ads. Okay, so I have 5 tips for you, more like 6, I guess. I've got some bonus tips and thoughts, but the first few are going to seem really boring because everyone just wants the secret sauce to ads. There really is no secret sauce. My first tip is actually patience and persistence. Yes, it's the most boring tip ever. You have to be patient with your ads. You have to be persistent with your ads. Patience meaning sometimes it takes a while, especially if you're bidding low, for ads to actually start. If you bid really high, they will start quickly, but yet they're not necessarily optimized, and you're probably wasting a lot of money. So you want to start slow and slowly adding. And everyone always asks me, how long do I wait? A week, 2 weeks. If they don't improve, you can up your bids. Or increase your budget, things like that, but you've got to give it time. You can't just change it the next day and the next day and the next day. Now, if you're on the other side though, if you're spending too much money, cut that loss right away. Okay, don't just let yourself spend money. But if you're on the increasing ads to get more impressions, then patience. You have to have patience. It takes a while to optimize ad. That falls under that persistence. You have to keep trying. If your ad isn't performing after 3 weeks, and I know that seems like a really long time, if it isn't performing, stop it and restart, because sometimes the ads just don't ever start, and I honestly believe it's luck. It's kind of the luck of the algorithm, luck of it being seen by the right person at the right time, and but opportunity is based on your ability to put yourself out there over and over again, and that's that persistence. Okay, so that's the tip 1, patience and persistence, like the most boring tip ever, but I'm going to tell you, like consistency, when you create books, if you consistently do it, you will make money eventually, right? Patience and persistence, that's how ads are. Now, number 2 is understand the terminology of ads. So let's talk impressions, we're going to talk clicks, sales, and orders. So let me tell you a little bit about each one. Really, you have to understand these, because if you don't, you're just throwing your money at a machine you do not understand. Okay, and when people, it frustrates me when people say, is this good? Well, do you even know what good is or what any of those things mean? So on basic terms, you can, and definitely do, read the directions. Like Amazon has some good stuff, and I'm going to show you some of that in a little bit, but we're going to talk about this. Impressions are basically how often it is shown. So it shows up on the page to a search. So someone is being shown it. That is an impression. Clicks is when somebody actually clicks on your ad. Okay, that makes sense. Sales is how many times it is sold, and it's the sales revenue, not your profit, and that's a big distinction. So if your book is $6.99 and you've had one sale, you will have $6.99, right? That makes sense. Now I want to talk about the last one, which is orders, and I pay attention to orders only they're a little bit confusing. So let's say you have one order, but you notice your $6.99 book is like, what is that, $13.98 if you've sold 2 of them, right? And you're like, but it only says one order. What that means is somebody purchased, they clicked on it, and then they purchased it, and they purchased 2 of them. So really, as far as dividing and deciding if your ad is performing, orders is not really a good metric to look at. The interesting thing about orders is if you notice that you're getting, you're really off on your division, like you don't divide evenly from your sales and your number of orders. So like if you had that $13.98 and there's a 1, you're like, that's really off. I've obviously sold 2 things, but I only have 1 order. So if you consistently see that pattern where you're making lots of sales, but like your orders isn't quite matching up, it's a lot lower, then you know your book is like a good purchase in bulk item. I have a few books that I've literally kind of made in the sense that like a coach or a teacher or something like that is going to buy these books in bulk. So I will often see, you know, sales of 5 at a time, 6 at a time, because I know they're purchasing it for a group of people. So that is interesting to note when you notice that sort of thing. Okay, so understand the terminology. Number 3, and this is the most important one on understanding terminology, it's ACost. So my tip is you have to understand ACost, what it is, and break even. It is the most important thing to understand, your break even ACost, because that is how you know if your ad is doing well. That is how you know if your ad is profitable. If your ad is running and it's just running very slowly, but it is profitable, like that's not a bad thing, okay? Yes, it may not be running and scaling as fast, and you can definitely kind of work on that, but I have quite a few ads that slowly chug along that are profitable, but not necessarily amazing. But they're profitable, so why would I stop them if I'm making money? Okay, so what is ACost? We're gonna go to the screen and I'm gonna show you that Amazon has some great tips. All right, here I am on Amazon's Ads Support Center. They have a lot of great information. You should definitely go through and read this. There's a lot in the ad setup that you can read about each term and terminology, and there's even some videos. So there is good stuff to be had on their support and page. All right, so advertising cost of sales. You can kind of walk you through, but basically what ACost is, it is the spend in ads divided by sales. So what that means is, let's say you spent $20 in ads and you made in sales, not profit, right? Sales, $100. You divide 20 is divided by 100, and that's 0.2, 20%. Okay, so your ACost is 20% or 0.2. Now, that's an important number to note because that's what that ACost is telling you. But how do I know when I'm breaking even? How would I know if that is a profitable ad? Well, the way to find that out is to figure out what your break-even ACost is, and you can do that by your products. I know a lot of people who organize their products by how much their cost is, like how much it sells for and how much their profit is, so that you can get kind of good numbers on this. So you can group them together in similar price points, or you can throw them all together and kind of come up with an average break-even ACost. So how do you determine what your break-even ACost is? Okay, so it's basically your break-even ACost is your profit divided by the cost of the book. So if your profit on a $6.99 book is about $2, so you would say 2 divided by $6.99. I know that's a lot of math, but actually it's not too bad, right? You just have to know your profit divided by your cost of your book. So in that case, it is 0.28, so about 28.6%. So if my ad is running and I see the ACost is 0.2, and I know my break-even ACost is 0.28, I know that I'm profitable, right? The lower, it's like golf, lower the ACost, the better. So you want low scores. So I'm profitable, so I should let that ad run. I know a lot of people say, is this good, is this bad? Well, are you breaking even? Are you making money? So that is something you definitely need to know and understand. All right, so I really believe in this. I know this is the boring part of ads, but you have no business running ads if you don't understand the basics, okay? Because you're just gonna lose money. All right, so now my tip number 4 is start small. Okay, so start small with really low bids. I have an actual video on what I call a lottery campaign, and I know a lot of people have tried it and they said it worked for them. I had a lot of people try it initially and they said, oh, it didn't work, it wasn't working, but they said, oh, I had patience and persistence and it started working for them. It just took time. Lower bid campaigns do take time to kind of settle in and start actually showing impressions, and then you eventually get clicks and that sort of thing. They're just slower moving, but they don't really cost you very much, and you can definitely kind of monitor that break-even ACost because they don't spend that quickly because they're lower ads. So I'm going to link up here to that video so that you can see like how to run those ads. So go check that video out. I think it's really helpful. A lot of people have said it's really been helpful for them. I didn't think of the idea. I actually took the idea from somebody else from a totally different topic, and I thought, oh, that's really great. I should try that with my books, and I found it works really well too. Okay, so Number 5, this is my like super sneaky tip. Okay, and let me go over here. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to Google Trends and show you something. So my kind of sneaky trick to advertising and tip for advertising on Amazon is to kind of, especially Q4, to think of your products and things differently. One of my best performing books is based around a trend, like a trending, unique type topic. So it's like keywords that I know this target area is going to use. And so I look at those and say, okay, now what can I create around that product? Like that idea, that topic, and what products can I create? And then once you know that, you know where you can advertise to. So you're kind of developing your advertising strategy before even creating your product. You're going to say, because remember on ads you can use, trademarked words. You can use authors. You can use products. You can use all the things that you can't normally do in your keywords for your books, but in an ad that is perfectly legal. Okay? That is a perfectly legal thing to do because Amazon's putting up there, it's a sponsored thing. So it's kind of warning the customer that this is sponsored. People are paying to advertise. So it is okay to use trending topics, trademark words, and all that for an ad. I want to emphasize that, for an ad. That is fine to do. So I was looking on Google trying to give you guys an example, and I had actually a Google example, and then I have an example I thought of. So in this, I was kind of going down here and seeing that Emma, I guess it's Darcy, from the House of Dragons, if you've been following, Game of Thrones was big, and then the House of Dragons, I guess, is before the Game of Thrones. And so what I'm thinking is Dragons, House of Dragons, Emma Darcy, all the co-stars and all that are going to be trending Google topics, which obviously they are. Google saying that people are Googling Emma Darcy, and then House of Dragons would be. So what kind of product could you create based upon those type keywords? And then you can advertise against those keywords, or you can advertise against products that other people, like actual established products, videos, all sorts of different things that you can actually advertise your book against, that if people in that who are interested in House of Dragons might like your book. So what book could you create? It could be maybe a Dragons calendar. So I was thinking the calendars, like a desk calendar. It could be a planner around dragons. It could be people who are really into it. You couldn't actually use House of Dragons on your book, but you could are you a dragon fan or something like that, and then they could write all the different episodes. So like people want to write down the episodes and what they liked about an episode or didn't like about an episode. So kind of a movie review or a series review type thing. So you could create something like that with dragons on it, right? You can't say House of Dragons, but it can have a dragon. So you're creating a product around a trend. The good thing about this too is that Google can pick up some of these trends as well. And so you could actually get Amazon putting your page on Google and you get that traffic as well. Okay, so that's kind of an advantage. Now, another example I thought of is, there was a trend with pooping dogs, and it was last year, and so there was a bunch of Facebook pages that were showing people showing their dogs pooping and things like that. And then last year, the pooping dog calendars were huge. Like a ton of them sold in Q4 of just people who took pictures of their dog pooping and then put it, 12 months. So, that was a trend. And someone said, hey, I will take that meme idea, Facebook group type, trend and create a calendar for people who like that sort of thing. Okay, so they created a book around a trend from some other industry. So that's something you can do instead of just trying to create. You could do the keywords and all that, but you can also go and create your product based upon a trend, and then you're basically creating it, deciding how you're going to advertise it before you actually, create it. And that's a really great way to go because there's an audience there, and now you're just giving them a product. So I think that's it's like sneaky, but I think it's a really good method. All right. Okay, my last one, I just wanted to give you tips on Q4 and how ads are run in Q4. So October is going to be a very slow month. You've got a lot of people who click on ads, who are kind of window shopping for gifts. So they might put your stuff in, wish lists or shopping carts or various things, but they're not actually going to purchase. You do get some people purchasing in October, but the majority of people in October are looky-looing. So you're going to get a lot of clicks and not necessarily a lot of sales or orders. That's just typical for October. So do understand that. Do not get disheartened. That is how October is. I do bid lower in October because I know I get these window shoppers and I want to get my products in front of them, but I don't want to spend a lot to do it. Now, once you have November and December, you're going to have a lot of people not only looking, but they're going to be buying, which is great for you. But that also means a lot of people are advertising during that time period. So your bids are going to have to go up a little bit. Now, don't go crazy. Don't be bidding like 35 cents. You could, you can, and if you have a topic and if you're break even ACoS, like if you are making money, go with it, right? As long as you're making money, then you can do that. But I would say most people with the kind of smaller margin books have, unless you have a higher margin item. I do have some items where I make like $6. Even I have one that's like $12 that I make per sale. I'm okay with bidding higher. If I'm making $12, I can do a 35-cent bid. That's not a big thing. But if you're making, that $2 to $3 to $4 range, you're going to want to stick just lower. I think my biggest bids over Christmas are usually 23 cents. That's about as much as I will bid because I know if I go too much higher than that, I bust my break even. So I'm not really making any money at that point in time. Now I know there's some people who go big and try and get really high sales and stuff like that, but since my topics and things I create are for much smaller audiences, that's not really my goal. So my goal is to make money and, do it efficiently. So that's kind of why I keep my bids a lot lower, because I do have a much smaller audience. All right, so that's kind of how things go in Q4, and I wanted to give you guys that advice and help, and I hope this was really helpful for you. Do check out, this is just Google Trends, trending searches. I literally typed into Google, trending searches, okay? And it comes up with a huge list. You can load more and you can continue. And this can just give you some ideas of trending topics. You can look on Facebook and see what's trending. You can look on Quora or wherever your favorite kind of search engine thing is and see what types of things are trending to kind of come up with ideas. But yeah, come up with something based upon a little bit different, and you can really see if you had your advertisement during Q4, how your sales can really skyrocket during this time. So I hope this was helpful for you. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.